Hey, how are some of my favorite people? You guys. It's good to see you all. Well, be with you all. I just see a lens, but y'all get that. Um, hey, today, you know what we talking about? 90 Day Fiance. You know what season we talking about? Number 10. You know what episode we talking about? 14. I don't got that many fingers, so it ain't going up. I'll give you one though if you try me. Totally kidding. Yeah, we got another week to review, another episode to review, some more madness to sift through. Without further ado, let's get into it. So straight out the gate, TLC coming with it. Sophie with her mama, and we back out in Venice. They had me. Yeah, no, I was ready for this. Um, so Sophie in the car having a conversation with her mother. This was really intense to me on the psychological side, if you think about it, because at first I was conflicted in my mind. I don't know how to take Sophie's mother's value because you only see snippets and you don't know necessarily where she's coming from, but the jewels and the knowledge she dropped on her daughter, I think is invaluable. She hit it right. She hit it right on the target exactly to say, hey, you gotta evaluate what you want, how you dealing with this, and how you can take that. This is how I felt in that situation. So if you feel anything like I did, then you might want to head for the hills because that's gonna wear on you. Rob's self esteem not there. She's saying the same thing I feel. Honestly, I wouldn't change based off what they showed us. I wouldn't change a word of that, and that's I don't know if that's how she coming with a lot of guys. If she's telling Sophie the things that you want to look for, but she's definitely right with her opinion about the things you don't want to be dealing with, and you don't want to. When you do see them, you want to kind of avoid or curve or had a conversation. However, you choose to deal with it. The way she delivered it to her daughter was intense. Right now, I'm definitely rocking with Sophie's mom. Uh, Unfortunately, every time she come on the screen and they put her name, I don't pay attention, so I still don't know it. I hope I get it by the end of this episode. But yeah, the advice that she's giving, at first, the way I looked at it, I said, I don't know if this is Sophie's hype man or hype woman in this case, or and she's just putting a battery in her back to go go go, or she's really her support system. If that's the case, then Sophie needs to find her backbone. But they're sitting down, mother and daughter having a conversation at lunch, and then you know, as Rob sends a message about a meme or whatever about some car that he don't have, and said this could be us. I don't know how, but why he sent that like a dweeb, I just don't understand. If that's the way that you try to open up the lines of communication about things that you need to talk about that you have in terms of issues within yourself, um, that's not gonna cut it. That's kind of childish, in my opinion. Like, what you think that's gonna work if she on a date with another man? Or more, you gonna be by the time she see that you gonna be done bawled your eyes out. Boy, you tripping. But yeah, that's Rob. But in the course of that lunch, um, they shrug it off and talk. They talk about the message, shrug it off. In the course of that lunch, there's more um, knowledge to be gained from mother to daughter, and her mother's absolutely right. These are things that you need to be strong enough to confront in terms of his issues with his self esteem and not being able to take ownership of the shortcomings he has in terms of his ability to just be patient and understanding and be a good communicator and a good listener. Like Rob's tripping more cases than not. None of what none of the reaction that Rob gives for the things that Sophie is saying or doing, um, none of them's correct. None of that Sophie should have to deal with, but she needs to be strong enough on her own and have enough of her own self esteem to say, "Hey, these are where my expectations are." So, no, Mom Dukes is spot on, and Rob still a Duke. I was about to say, Rob still Robert. Rob still Robert. Mm. All right, so y'all know what time it is next. It is Tubi, Bobby, and Ken, or Igor. How you say it? Y'all know his name. Anyway, their segment opens up. They are riding in the car, and they are still reeling from the previous conversation about the failed attempt at a menage a three. Um, and so Yeah, no, the vibe is off and the conversation is had. It kind of turns into an argument. I forgot what was said, but I just remember when my boy Justin kind of responded with, "What are you doing for the relationship? What are you doing to better it? What are you doing? How is your mood and energy today, adding to it or taking away? Like you need to be here, you need to be focused, you need to be on it." We talking about this, and so then they flash back to his conversation with his friend Ivan or Ivar, I think one of the two. And that kind of got me excited because I didn't get a chance to review that episode, but that kind of meant a lot to me. If you look how they are and where they are having dinner or a meal together, but they completely alone. Man, it's a closed set for the reason being that their culture is more private about these types of conversations. So it gives you a little bit of insight into where he comes from and the type of person he is. Nikki's a louder person. Nikki has a more outgoing personality and style and things like that. And so it's just a testament of the world that you're stepping into and the person that you were beginning to deal with if you were in that situation. I'm speaking from a perspective of like, hey, this is him. I mean, this is him accepting Nikki walking back into his world, but at the same time, she's got to accept the steps that she's taking. Again. It's the reason I said it. It's him as ingesting, accepting Nikki walking back into his world. When he says that you need to change, and Nikki kind of, well, that's what happens. He says that you need to change, and she kind of questions it. So I need to change. He's like, yeah, and she takes issue with that. To me, the reality is that you do. Uh, Years ago, I believe it was 10 years ago, y'all separated ways because you revealed something to him that you were dishonest about. So, in order for him to, I mean, that's really on you. So, in order for him to accept you back, you got to accept the terms that he's asking, whatever those are. If you don't accept the terms, that's okay. But when you want that way in and the person lays it out flat, it is what it is. It's like a roller coaster. It runs at the speed it runs. It's up to you whether or not you want to get on this ride. That's the other thing. I don't think that Justin is lying about some of the things he says, some of the things he wants, some of the reasons he gives for why he isn't intimate with Nikki. Um, a lot of people might question that, but I think that he's being more honest than he's giving credit for, especially when dealing with Nikki, because I don't see too many inconsistencies in a lot of his stories, and he's not shutting himself off. He is talking and having a conversation. I just don't think that she's accepting of it, and she's trying to figure out her own reasons without asking the right questions. In a situation like that, you should continue to ask questions to get a better understanding and not take what you're hearing with your own understanding, which is what she's doing. She's hearing what he's saying. She's hearing what he's saying and interpreting it with her own emotions and feelings, without continue to ask the right questions because you might get the right answers and you might be able to take a look into someone else's perspective and be willing to accept the reality that they're giving you, which she's not. Bad Barbie. Oh yeah, so I don't know how far I went into that, but they do the flashback and they continue to have a conversation. The segment pretty much begins and ends in the car with this conversation about him asserting his masculinity and the need for change and the questions and just them overall wanting to mesh and them not. All right, next up, Ashley and Manuel's turn. I wonder if it got y'all. I wonder if TLC got y'all. I think they got y'all. Y'all, they heard the music. It was so nice. They all excited. They riding in the car and stuff. They going to Niagara Falls. But hey, try to trick us into believing they wasn't gonna argue. Come on, y'all. Y'all know better. Why people go to these nice places to have a nice time and end up talking about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the I'm not gonna say it don't have nothing to do with the reason they're there. What I'm gonna say is, it's a time and a place for everything. But anyway, they played the music, they had the ride, they had the conversation leading up to about how they're gonna have a good day and everything. And they're here at Niagara Falls, and what do they want to talk about? Money. Fix myself. They want to talk about money at Niagara Falls. Their financial situation, the conversation that keeps coming up about Manuel feeling like she needs to save. I don't know if he mentioned what he feels like she needs to be saving for, But yeah, he says she spends, spends, spend. He wants to live. I don't know why he want her to save, and she's trying to say like it's not like I'm out here spending money for no reason. We're planning for a wedding and we got a short amount of time. But on top of that, like, bro, you had X amount of time when you knew you was coming to save money, and you didn't. And he like, bro, sis, why I'm gonna save money when I'm coming to America and this where the money reside? Where the money reside? Where the money reside? He ain't say that, but that would have. I would have fell out if he did. Um, yeah, no, and they going back and forth and they not having an understanding. And I think as he tried to break through with a healthier way to respond and had a conversation and open it up, and Manuel in childlike fashion, he kind of shuts it down. He don't want to talk about it. If he's not getting his way, if he's not being heard, if he's not understood, he doesn't want to talk about it. I really want to know what is his reasoning. Like, bro, what do you? Why are you trying to make sure that she's safe so that y'all can what? Like, are you trying to somebody fill me in? Anyway, they just continue to argue. They even argue about arguing, which is toxic. If that was me, I'm at Niagara Falls. I got my shorty with me. That wouldn't be me. Anyway, yeah, they argue at Niagara Falls. To be continued. Hey y'all. Y'all know why I'm so excited. It's my favorite time. It's my favorite team. It's my favorite couple. Jasmine and Gino. Jasmine and Gino. Oh no, let me stop. Anyway, Jasmine and Gino. Um, they here. They with us. Um, they open up. It's so funny how they do the little turn when they put the names out. And Gino, he look like he look like I just cut this grass. I can't stand Gino. Oh, but I'm starting to like him. I started to like him anyway. And get in there. They're talking about how Jasmine ended up opening up and being honest about the surgery that she had and how Dane helped with the payments for it. And can I tell y'all, this is part of what I like about Jasmine. The feminine energy, the feminine energy is oozing from this woman in such a way that myself as what I would consider a masculine man, I just eat it up. I just eat it up. I know what's going on. Like she puts this premise and this preface on like she about to let us all know, him included, because he can't be that dumb. I'm about to lie to you and you gonna eat it up. The beauty of her wanting to tell the lie is the love in itself. She knows she messed up. She knows she got caught. She knows she had to come clean. She gonna ride this one because he not gonna find out until he find out. If he find out, and she gonna handle that too. But I just, man, I like how she disarmed him with the smiles and it's just a friendship. That's all it is. Because she could turn it the other way into an argument or just not caring at all. And y'all know how I feel about Jasmine. I can't get enough of this woman. So let me break down my attraction to Jasmine. Now, Jasmine, every time she gets a medical enhancement, she becomes less physically attractive to me. However, her mental, oh my gosh, she is she's smarter than Gino. So what you just so what we saw on the screen was uh mental chain wrestling. What happens is during the course of their conversation, um, it gets brought up how see so hold on. First off, Jasmine knows that uh, Gino has no proof other than the things that she has admitted to and told him. Okay, so Gino has no proof, right? That's gonna be an issue for Gino because what she can fire back with is something that has been verified. That's when she jumps back into when Gino was sending pictures of her, intimate photos of her to his ex. That's a problem, Gino. That is verified, Gino. You've owned up to that, Gino. So now she has just flipped it. She has just hit the reversal, and now the energy and focus is on what he has done. What did she do? oh, she get real excited about him and his exes, and then she begins to turn this into an argument about that, shifting the focus. Now it's off of her and on to him, because again, the only thing that you know is what I've told you. What has Dane told you? I don't even know if you be man enough to ask. But the reality of what I seen unfolding was beautiful. It got so heated. She talked about how she wished that she had been intimate with Dane the last time. Y'all, I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced. You're not gonna tell me that they didn't. In my experiences, I ain't got $2,000 to just up you for just no reason. Like, dang. However, even if I did, even if I did, so yeah, no, I don't know about that, but it gets there, and then it gets to Gino saying, "I wish I did the same," and she talking about he can't please, man. Ooh wee, ooh wee. She talking about how her and Dane used to get it in all the time. Pow, pow, pow. And Gino said, "Oh yeah, my exes did too." When she talked about his inability to please, ladies, let me tell you something. Ladies, anytime you see the hurt in my voice, okay? Anytime you go there in terms of performance with a man, you strike, you strike, you strike. Now, how he defends this is maketh the man, but you strike nonetheless. I don't care if you hear a thud as he stands up, you strike nonetheless. Just gonna say that. Scene for Gino and Jasmine for the time being. It ends in an argument, and here we are again. Match to set point. Jasmine wins. All right, so let me fix you. All right. So this is Clayton and Annalise's turn, and we cut to the scene, and Clayton is with his mother in a store shopping for gerbil stuff or something like that. You know, little gerbil boy doing gerbil things. And they're leaving. They're obviously he's back from San Diego with Anna Lee, and they're leaving, headed back to where they're going. And his Clayton's mother begins to have a conversation of some of her concerns with Anna Lee and the living situation, talking about the things she cooks and being up at all times of night and the cleanliness and something else. And I kind of get irritated because in my mind I'm like, pause. You live in a closet in your son's house, and to be honest, you should be giving him room. He's about to get married in 10 days at the very least. What are you doing to contribute to that ecosystem to improve it? Like, maybe y'all move in a bigger house if you can't move out. Get out the closet right next to them. That's kind of weird. And for you to be complaining, you need to chill. You really need to chill talking about, oh, when she can cook American food. I want me a cheeseburger. That's borderline racist. Why don't you cook? She cook how she cook. Like, what are you saying? Like,
Where's their
if
cheeseburgers
I
at?
go to Mexico to live with the family, I'm telling y'all right now, my specialty is gonna be the stuff I made in America, and that's what I'm bringing to y'all, and that's the reason I'm bringing it to y'all, so y'all can cook me y'all the foods of your culture and teach me. I'll learn. You know what I mean? But then I can give you mine. So, lady, what are you saying? Clayton's mom does mention being open to helping Anna Lee, in terms of cooking and learning. But even still, her approach to it is kind of like, but she hasn't asked me. She may not know how to ask. However, like I previously stated, she may just have in her mind, this would be fun, or this can be cool to bring to the country and bring to their culture something that they're not used to. Because again, we're still getting used to each other. They're not used to me. Y'all gonna eat, make, and buy enough burgers for all of us. This is America. But anyway, she's talking about all I hear is Spanish, Spanish, Spanish. That is, again, for you to hold that against somebody whose born language is Spanish. it's kind of weird of you. Her whole perspective is weird, but as I knew it was coming in the preview, she does take them on a trip that Clayton is not prepared or packed for, which is a guilt trip. When she says, "Oh well, I guess I'm just defending myself," because Clayton does ask why you seem defensive, why are you getting defensive, and he then says something that I feel like is profound. He says that is the way it's basically that's how he's perceiving it. Again, it is you got to argue perception versus intent. It's not the way you intended as much as it can be sometimes the way the audience perceives it. So I may say good morning, but if you don't hear it loud enough, you may think I'm grumpy or distant or not saying it at all. And in all actuality, it was just miscommunication. It is on me, the communicator, then to kind of clarify that. And what does she do? Well, I'm not. I never told anybody that. That's the wrong way to handle that. But she's handled most of this conversation in the car ride wrong. So again, she then goes, "Well, I'd leave tomorrow if I could, if I had a place to go." Come on, man, don't put that burden on him. He has enough to deal with, and he's trying to make all waters calm and cool between the two, well, the three of you all. It's easier said than done, but that's where they go with that. It's just to me, Clayton's mother is on the defensive and she's backed into a corner and she's trying to protect herself for reasons unknown. Because I feel like she thinks that she's being boxed out. Uh, she's been able to lean on Clayton. It's been her and Clayton, and now she doesn't know what the next step is going to be. I could be totally wrong, but she feels like, hey, if you bring this one in and you start walk down this road, I may be left on the side of whatever road in which you choose to turn down and leave me. I don't know if that's the way it's going to be, but I don't think it has to be. However, communication is key, and healthy communication is big. All right, y'all. So we moving right along. Now we get into Sam and Citra. Last week I said they was boring. You know, they still boring. I mean, they cool though. I told y'all that too. I still root for them. I still ride for them. I still really like them as a couple. I think that their union is one of the more organic ones, and they simply are two people from two different worlds trying to figure each other out. With that said, I was so enthralled in that moment because in my head, what happens is the families are meeting. Um, Again, Sam and Citra have picked up the father and the sisters, well, the sister from the hotel, the airport, and the father and sister from the hotel, and they're all going to Sam's father's house, I believe. Yeah, Sam's father's house, and they get there, and he's sitting down and they're having a conversation. And when they first get in there, no, forget when they first get in there. When they're getting off the plane and getting in the ride, man, I was looking at Sam's car. I'm like, dang, I wonder if they thought that was the chariot when they got here. Then I'm looking like I wonder if they thought that's how the house of the casa was looking, the castle, uh, how that was looking for them in relation to what they thought when they got there. Then they go in there and they sitting down and they sit down and Pops is ready, man. And again, I think that is a decent set of people doing the best they can. But when they sit down, they're greeting the family, and for saying this is a surreal moment because the worlds are merging, is essentially speaking. But his pops, like I said, the great hostess he is, man, he got the KFC ready to go. And I thought to myself, I said, whoa, again, what are they thinking? Like, they're not even going to really say. And when they're asked, they're not going to say. When they're interviewed, they may not say. It turns out, I don't think they really did say to that point, but what are you really thinking when you first step into all this, man? I'm saying, like, they got little flies buzzing around. They trying to get the KFC. It's like they got the whole spread though, right? They got all the fixings. The chicken is going. It might not have been KFC, but it looked like it to me. I know that fried and that mashed potato anywhere. So we got the KFC for the family, and to me, I don't think I would have picked that. I don't know what I would have picked, but I don't think I would have picked that. And again, that was weird. So Pops is like, yeah, I got a lot, man. Y'all take more. They talking about they eating small, but for real again, I don't know if this is day five. So yeah, get to it for the flies, dude. I don't. He didn't say that, but that's the vibe he gave off to me. I probably would have did the same thing. Like, man, this. Oh no, we ate on the plane. We ate on the plane, baby. We good. But it was just an interesting situation for them to walk into, and I thought that was funny. But I also thought it was wholesome and cute, and it's just a testament to how these two are completely different and really just wanted to work. So the families are at the table. They are having a good meal of KFC with taco sauce. I don't know why that was on the table, but it was there. And Citra brings up Sam's past during the course of conversation, and Sam kind of shuns away from that topic, rightfully so. However, the conversation needs to be had, and it swings to the point of where the father can understand that if Sam is matured and he's learned from the troubles of a misguided youth, that he too can have retribution. So they continue to have a conversation that they're having. It leads into travel, and then it segues into if cannabis use is legal in Indonesia. The father responds, no. He then says one cigarette or one stick of cannabis is 5 years in prison in Indonesia. Indonesia. Um, so that is the way he kind of looked at it. I feel like that begins to create a shift in um, morals, values, and cultures. The father feels like it's very dangerous, and he's taught his daughters to feel the same way. So, Sam and Citra, it's legal in my state if you want to move here. But other than that, again, it just begins to show the differences in culture that they're going to have to overcome. And for them to be one of the couples I'm rooting for the most, I'm interested in seeing where that goes. Now the network is so graciously giving us another dose of Gino and Jasmine. I forgot to tell y'all that one thing that Gino said in the course of their argument was if his ex provoked, if Jasmine provoked his ex to leak nude pictures of her, Gino, sign up for my school, man. Please, Gino. I can help you. I can get your mind right. Why would you do that? Why would you say that? It just helps fuel that fire in Jasmine. Ladies, take notes on Jasmine. She is a manipulative crier. She strategically sets up her cries. You feel me? And when she does that, she disarms him every time. You come with that level of femininity, ladies. And when that doesn't fail, then you abort the mission. But until then, when you do that, you're going to win. She's about to win this thing. She's gonna win so much that Gino now wants a resolution. He is disarmed, and I'm gonna calm down and talk to her when she's calmer, and we'll have a conversation. Bruh, she's ready to fight to the end. And you trying to cop deuces. She has already won, and bravo to you, ma'am. Bravo. You never cease to amaze me. Now, when I say level of femininity, what I'm really trying to say is that the way she channeled her emotion and used it for compassion and caring, she chose to and- she chose to be vulnerable instead of being argumentative and loud and trying to be aggressive. She chose to be vulnerable. So that to me is more of more feminine energy on display in a positive way when you're trying to be open and be honest and have that type of conversation. So she rang that down on Gino, and there was nothing that he could do. He was trapped. He came in the room. He snuck in the door like, can we talk? Can we talk? He came in with the energy that she cultivated for him to have. If you read the Art of Sun Tzu, scratch. If you read the Art of War by Sun Tzu, in that in that book, there's a part, and don't quote me on it, but it says, in terms of war, pick for the for the battle, pick the ground of your choosing. I mean, there's reasons behind that, but you want to wage war on a setting, on a plane, in an atmosphere, on the energy that you so choose, and that's what Jasmine did. She is so masterful at that. I just, man, Yeah, so she again, you ever you play that game where you fighting a couple of games where you fighting and you won the match, but then there's a part where it say finish him. Yeah, no, that's what Jasmine did. Like she went out there, she went out there and she said, I'm gonna tell Dane, I'm gonna get on the phone. And I love the network for this. I love the network for this. They show her phone. She ain't called nobody. She just on the text messages. She talking about some, hey Dane, it's me, blah yada yada. She is telling Dame all the things that Gino wants to hear, and it is so wonderful how he's eating it up. And she just keep going. I would have loved for her to be on the phone talking to nobody in their ring, and then she just get the fumbling or something like that. But that is another well played. Like it's just like she just she a secret spy. And she everywhere you think she trapped, she get out with ease. Like it was always the plan. I can't do nothing but being all. If you got to set your bait out there, you get the big catch. You can reel it in. You reel that sucker in. That's what she doing. And he just I can't take this, man. I cannot take this. I yeah. Yeah, man. They hugging and stuff, talking about let's go back to doing what we was doing before we was doing this. You never had a chance, Gino. You never had a chance. That's my girl. All right, back over to Clayton and Anna Lee. They are in the room and they're having a conversation that turns into a debate about how Anna Lee feels that Clayton is somewhat being irresponsible with the responsibilities that he um, is mostly in charge of, what they share ownership of. In terms of getting things together for the wedding, she is letting him know there's only so much I can do. From my English being, I can't speak English like you, and um, this me being so far from home, you are my resource, so I need your resources. And the way he's putting things off and the way he's prioritizing things in his life is a real issue for her. And you know how Clayton is, he's kind of being defensive about that, which is somewhat unacceptable. And again, this is a conversation that's turning into a debate. Now, Clayton's mother hears from the outside, and she does that thing that she's been doing that I'm starting to see more and more of, and unlike more and dislike more and more of, and that's when she's making those insensitive comments that she does. All I hear is arguing in Spanish, Spanish, Spanish. The faster she goes, the more heated it gets, or something like that. Come on, the way she said that, I'm not making fun of her. I just don't like how her personality is evolving for us. Um, so yeah, I guess that Clayton walks out and they begin to have a conversation about it, and it's bothering me. But I knew something in the back of my mind, and when the TLC, the network, cut to it, they kind of saw her perking up to some of the things that Clayton and his mother was saying, and I got real excited because I'm like, I knew she knew. I knew she knew. I know she don't know everything, but I knew she knew, and that is like vindication for me because she comes out and basically says, "I hear what y'all saying. Like, you tripping." And Clayton was stuttering in Spanish, for the most part, trying to cover that up, and the way his mother looked was like, "Oh, yeah, no, man, you shouldn't." You need to read the room and be more accepting and understanding. Than I feel like the mother and Clayton for this point is being, in terms of like with Clayton it's more like the standpoint of relationship in a man, but just his mother as a person, you need to be more mature. I think like I'm not feeling that. As far as Clayton, like, no, bro, this stuff is on you. I feel like it's a scale that you got to kind of balance out or be on either side of. Like the less your girl has to argue about or complain about, the less you have to own up to. But when she start going up here, this gonna go down there, and it just is what it is. So get it together so that she's feeling more content, secure, and improving the things. So when you say, "Oh, it's on me," I don't agree. This ain't on this. You can kind of stand on that. Right now, you can't, Clayton. Right now, you can't. And your mother is. I don't really care for the things she say right now. All right, so my apologies, gang. I had to go see about my son. Being a parent, these things happen. But I'm back. I wanted to take a second to ask you all to first off, I appreciate you rocking with me through the course of this video. These are kind of long, but the show is kind of long. What is it, like an hour and a half or something like that? So it's a lot to dive into, and these people are interesting, so it's a lot to discuss. But again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. If you can, like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever we got to do to get us further in the algorithm so we get more people talking and more people joining our community. Um, but yeah, no, without further ado, let's get back to the story. We are back with Nikki and Justin, and I'm gonna be honest. Um, I forgot what they was doing. I forgot most of this part. Is kind of boring. The gist of it was they went horseback riding after they talked. I guess that's where they was going throughout the course of that car ride from earlier, and they went horseback riding. And Justin wanted a romantic date and they wanted to recreate one of their better memories from the past. Now, for me, I kind of personally want to create new memories, but either way, no, horseback riding is dope. Let's go. Um, Everybody's love thing, preferences is different. But yeah, no, his attempt and his efforts is not going in vain. So again, I forgot what they really talked about, but the gist of it was, they want to get back on the right page. I know it was a point where they were kind of leaned up against a built some kind of sort of built up fence, but it was like old wood, and Nikki had her face close to the wood, and I was just thinking like bugs be crawling on that. So I was a little nervous for her safety as far as that goes. But that's the only thing that stood out to me during that scene. Now, heading back to Ashley and Manuel. If we gotta, back to Ashley and Manuel, and they are at Niagara Falls, and they are wrapping up the exchange that they had that was about the conversation about money and just they was arguing again, y'all, and they kind of stopped. They just want to breathe. They just want to have a good time. They just want to enjoy the moment that they're in, and that's cool to me. They get on the falls or whatever. They ride in a little boat. I've never been. I guess they getting wet and they riding on the water and it's a magical moment. They're having a great moment. They're beginning to strengthen their bond. And Ashley's doing her confessional, making a comment about how she believes that they're gonna get off to a rocky start and they're gonna see smooth sailing. And I'm not sure because I don't know how that works. I don't know if it works like that. Um, I will never make a video on how to get married because I've never been married. So I don't know if I'm the official when it comes to this, but I don't think that's the route that you take. However, whatever floats your boat, I think that is very appropriate for the given circumstances that they're in. But again, they are trying to talk about whether it's worth it to get married, and they're both agreeing that it is, and it's worth the fight. And I don't think you necessarily should be using fight in terms of phrasing what you want for the future of your relationship. However, again, I've never been engaged or married, so I wouldn't know. But if I was gonna point out a flag on this play, it would probably be red. However, that's Ashley Manuel, and that's how they rock, and so it's great. And Ashley's on the water, and she's like, "It's the water. Now everything about our relationship is gonna be water, and this is where we found love on the water." And again, I not for me. However, if that's how you get down, then I gotta respect that. So, wrapping up that whole scene, I don't know. Comments were said, verbs, yeah, words, nouns, pronouns, all that. They was on the water and they was getting happy about the prospect of their relationship as they should in that moment. And sometimes it's a this is what I'll say about them. They live in every moment they're in terms of the emotion of it, both good and bad, for better or worse. It's probably unhealthy if you completely indulge in both of them. I mean, honestly, I feel like you should completely indulge in the better times of living in those moments, but the negative ones, you gotta step outside of yourself because, again, sometimes emotions need to be checked, and I don't know if they've gotten to that point, but they should, and hopefully they will. But I don't know. Yeah, no. So we jump back in the mix with Sam and Citra, and business actually has picked up. Oh, you don't say. Um, we jump into Citra's dad out on the porch, and he is, getting comfortable with his new surroundings. It's safe to say that he's found his little groove when he's out here visiting his daughter and his soon-to-be son-in-law, in America. And they come outside to talk to him, and the reason being is because they've been forthcoming, but maybe not entirely with Citra's father in terms of Sam's past. So now they need to have a conversation about more into Sam's past, his previous drug abuse issues, and the potential diversion program that he would have been in, but now may not is probably not going to be because he didn't file the paperwork in time, which could lead to incarceration. Now they fear the results being negative and the ramifications of that because in Citra's mind and Sam's mind, her father could potentially take her back to the country or not allow her to marry Sam. But it's a conversation that needs to be had anyway. This is an uncomfortable situation for Sam, and I feel for him in this moment. However, it's just one of those things where you have to own up to and you have to sit down and have the conversation. So he does, and Citra's father's reaction is every bit how they thought it would be. He's very upset and disappointed with what he hears. And one of the first things he wants to know is when is the trial, and they also tell him when it is and the type of jail time he could be facing. Now, father to father, this man, I salute you, King. I salute you, King. This man looks Sam in his eyes, and he lets him know flat out, if you go to jail, I will not allow you to marry my daughter. She coming back with me, flat out. He said it way more serious and way more convincing than I just did, to the point where Sam understood without understanding the language exactly what this man was saying, because he did not mix his words, he did not flinch, he did not fold, and he made eye contact. Again, double salute to you, King. Any kind of salute, within reason. We salute that. But yeah, no, it definitely is their worst fear realized, but it's out in the air now, and all you can really do is hope for the best at this point. You dropped the ball in what you should have did, and this is the reality of that. It sucks for their situation, but yeah, no, it was to be expected. It was to be expected. So we will see where it goes with that. But right now, they could be facing a split because he's ready to take his daughter home. I don't blame him. Like I said, father to father, I would have said the same thing. We back with Clayton and Anna Lee, and they are driving from Kentucky to Indiana. It's wedding week, and they taking a. Can't believe I'm about to say this. And they're taking the gerbils. I'm so mad at myself. Guinea pigs. I am so sorry. For like an episode and a half, I have been saying the wrong thing. Guinea pigs. Still, I can't wrap my head around it. I do apologize to anybody I may offend, but that's not my pet of choice. I think that's obvious, but Clayton's not my person of choice, so I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. Um, but yeah, they're driving to um, they driving to where they driving. I forgot. And you can tell that Anna Lee is extremely uncomfortable in trying to make the best of the situation, which is unfortunate because you are walking into the rest of your life with this, and it's a little scary. But she just says she just wants to focus on the wedding and doing what they need to do to get over that hurdle in their life, which I do understand. So they're staying at a rental house during the wedding process, and we see it is dope. It's decked out. It's nice. It has an indoor swimming pool. I can tell you, if me and my girlfriend, significant other, fiance, whatever, are in that type of spot and our vibe is right, It's crazy. It will be crazy. So, most I would hope they make the most of it, but this is Clayton. I think the guinea pigs will, but this is Clayton. Again, the Indiana rental property is popping. They touring it or whatever. Then Clayton's sister comes in. That's my girl too. Yeah, I definitely rock with her. Now we seeing her in person and just not through the phone. What I can tell y'all is if you didn't see, she's opinionated. She's interesting. So she comes in and she is reading off the list of their wants and she's giving the wills and the wants. Um, and she was asking if they had an efficient. I'm assuming what that is, but I'm not knowing. But in any case, it was part of what Anna Lee had asked Clayton if he had gotten covered because it's something that he needed to do, and he didn't. So when he answers his sister, he goes, "Yeah, no, not yet. We can worry about it the day of or the week of. We can do it anytime. Somebody that's there can do it." That sounds. That sounds really Clayton, you need to grow up. You need to grow up and be responsible and take care of your business. And he even says that, like, the sister says that she's beginning to feel stressed with what all they're asking of her. And he goes, well, and she says it's her, it's your wedding. He goes, yeah, right, it's our wedding, so we shouldn't be stressed. Ain't that right? Again, you need to mature. You need to become responsible. That sounded like a good level of immaturity in there for me anyway. But again, I've never been married. I don't know. Maybe this is how those things are handled. But I would think that, especially on your particular wedding, you're gonna put the work in. Now, the day of, you have it to have everything set in place because if she can't find an efficient, then it's gonna be on you before you walk down the aisle. And his sister lets him know it. His sister lets him know it. And I think that's what I like about her. She even says "f you" at one point, which in a joking manner, it was warranted. So then Anna Lee wants to inquire about her bachelor party. This little Anna Lee, I see you. So she's asking about the bachelor party, and Clayton's sister says, "Oh, we'll watch movies, have a few friends over, pop some popcorn, something like that." And it's sounding crazy, but she's revealing like, "Hey, I don't want Clayton to know I got a little bit going on. I think she's gonna be surprised. We're gonna have a good time," which is also cool to me. But for the most part, I feel like they should, but I know that they won't. Um, gives the sister her flowers because she trying, and I think that she truly knows who she's dealing with and the hassle that it is to facilitate Clayton's wants and his requests in this situation. And when he says, "Oh man, he live with my mother," when she said that, like she knows Clayton and the mother, so that's probably why she's further away from that situation. Well, as far as she can be, because she told him, she like, listen. Well, she tells us, listen, I'll make up a excuse the day of. I'll get sick. I'll have diarrhea. I'll disappear. I won't answer. I'll bounce. Big sis a whole vibe. Big sis a whole vibe. I thought they was gonna play us like they did last week. But this week they went ahead and they gave us a little bit more Sophie and Rob. At the beginning of this scene, I seen Sophie and Rob. I mean Sophie and her mom going into their hotel room, but I wasn't really paying attention because I was locked in. Because I'm like, man, I know they about to flip to what this idiot got to say. So I just kind of channeled that one out. And the gist of it is, hey, we're gonna get married soon, and I got to be sure because I'm not sure. And dun 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 dun. So next they cut to Rob. He's at the laundromat and he's gonna meet up with two of his buddies so he can have his time. And they meet up, Rob and the guys, they're having a conversation. It breaks into, hey, it's getting time for the big day. And then Rob begins to unload about the things that have been going on since Sophie's mom has got there. And he does typical Rob fashion stuff and keys in to go verbatim with one of the one of the things that bothered him the most when I guess she says a real man would have saved up for a year to get a better house or something like that before Sophie were to move over there. And Rob was like, it sent him in this direction and he was feeling some kind of way. And I think this was the best moment when his friends got to laughing in his face, telling him, yeah, we know how you get. Like, he, everybody knows how he gets. And I was just thinking in that scene, like, I wonder if they know how he get down and how he act when he's cornered or when he's feeling insecure or he gets on the defensive. And apparently they do. Rob's doing his little confessional thing and he's saying how he wishes that Sophie would have his back and he feels like people when people are getting on him, she takes that opportunity to jump on the bandwagon and instead of supporting him or whatever. But to me, that's just like, why don't you quit being so defensive and why don't you build your own backbone up so that you don't need others to have your back because you take pride in who you are and what you've been able to accomplish if you've been able to accomplish things. I don't want to tell you how to be, how to live your own life, Robert. But what I am saying is that sounds kind of corny, and I don't think that anybody's really supporting your argument or your viewpoint. Because even his friends asked, they say, "Listen, you've had 3 years. Why haven't you guys had this conversation? Haven't you had enough time to decide and work these types of things out?" And Rob says, "Well, I've never had her mom come into my house. I've never seen these types of things, and this is the first time, and we had the distance and this and that." Well, that's all the more reason for you to not have jumped into the situation the way you did, but you did. Then he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm not sold on marriage. I'm not going to live like this for the next 3 weeks and then get married, live like I've been living." Dude, that is crazy. Why would you say that? Why would you think that? But he did. Friends don't necessarily agree. I definitely don't agree. This is part of why I don't like Rob. He goes, "I told Sophie I had up until the day of the wedding to get married and say I do." Bro, are you serious? All of those things. All right, all right, all right. Again, never been married, right? However, when this does happen, because it will, when this does happen, it will be to someone that I have decided that even before I go through those types of situations with, if it doesn't come to that before we do get engaged, even before that happens, I have already decided that the waves of life I am willing to ride um, until each of them subside with this individual. I am willing to be in that situation or that position with this individual, regardless of if we have faced it together or not. I am going to ride that with this person. And I've decided that, or we're not getting married. So, again, that is just another immature thought process that this Mr. Robert has. I can't stress this enough. There is a lot of introspective thinking and soul searching involved to evolve and become your best self. And until you do that, the self that you deliver can be flawed to another individual. And this is a prime example of that. Like, they were not ready for this situation. Let's see how they ride it out, though. All right, so aside from the previews of next week, that basically concludes this week's episode. This episode and the episodes that come before it and the ones that follow, they're all to serve as a companion to the actual show. Go watch 90 Day Fiance and all the spinoffs, well, the spinoffs that you like, and then come back and watch a show like this. You should never just take a person's review or recap as your own account, because you may see something or think something or get a feel for something different. But with all of that, like, subscribe, share, comment, anything that you feel compelled to do. I appreciate it all. I enjoy making these videos and I will continue to do so, among other things, because it's therapeutic. So until next time, y'all, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace.